Hi, it's Mr. Skelton again, and in this lesson we're going to take the patterns that we were doing in the last one and include the actual notation so that we can put those two elements together, what we're actually doing with our fingers and what we see, so that we're reading. I will do a quick, very quick review of the patterns as we go through each string. However, if you don't really know them, if you can't just rattle them off the top of your head, please go back and do the first video. That will save you a lot of time. And we'll do it string by string. Again, I've separated out the instruments for the sake of time. This is the second of what I think are going to be 4, maybe 5 videos total. So there are a couple more steps involved in this, but this is probably the most critical step because we're now actually getting into the notation. We will be you should be using your arm fingerboard for this. I do want to stress that again, good hand shape. Keep it nice and curved and relaxed. Come down on the top. Not sideways or anything like that. And do try to get the half steps where they occur. I'll show those just very quickly ahead of each string, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so for violas, we're going to start on the C string, the lowest one. This is on the thumb edge of our arm, and we have a half step here between E and F, so C, D, E, F, G. So we got the two middle ones touching. Here are your C string notes in notation. Notice that a few of them are below the staff. We have 2 of them that have ledger lines on them, and then they go up a little bit further from that. You need to be able to recognize where the open strings are. So this, of course, is starting on the C and ending on the G. So C, D, E, F, and G. Now take a look at this one more time. And I want you to practice that pattern on its own. Here is the cascade pattern. And if you need to know what that is, go back to the first video. Practice this one. And finally, here is the broken thirds pattern. So you've practiced this one with the letters that you should know. And if you have difficulty with this one, keep practicing the first 2, the scale and the cascade. Next, let's move over to the G string. It has the same finger pattern. The half step is in the same place. Of course, our letters are G, A, B, C, D. So now we start on the G. We just finished with that last time, that first space. And we go up G, A, B, C, and D. Now take a look at this one more time. And I want you to practice that pattern on its own. Here is the cascade pattern. And if you need to know what that is, go back to the first video. Practice this one. And finally, here is the broken thirds pattern. So you've practiced this one with the letters that you should know. And if you have difficulty with this one, keep practicing the first 2, the scale and the cascade. On the D string, our half step moves between 1 and 2 because that's where the E and the F go. So D, E, F, G, A. That should be the finger pattern that we're using for this. And here's your D string in notation. We start a couple spaces from the bottom or 2 spaces down from the top, depending on how you look at it. And here's D, E, F, G, and A. Now take a look at this one more time, and I want you to practice that pattern on its own. Here is the cascade pattern. And if you need to know what that is, go back to the first video. Practice this one. And finally, here is the broken thirds pattern. So you practice this one with the letters that you should know. And if you have difficulty with this one, keep practicing the first two, the scale and the cascade. And finally, for viola, we're going to do the A string. So now we're on the other edge of our arm, the pinky edge. And the half step is the same thing as it was in the D's between 1 and 2. So A, B, C, D, E. So that's our pattern on that A string. Your A string notes are all above the staff. The A's on the staff and everything else has those little ledger lines. So that's one way to help recognize those. A, B, C, D, E. Now take a look at this one more time, and I want you to practice that pattern on its own. Here is the cascade pattern. And if you need to know what that is, go back to the first video. Practice this one. And finally, here is the broken thirds pattern. So you practice this one with the letters that you should know. And if you have difficulty with this one, keep practicing the first two, the scale and the cascade. Okay, so practice those. Practice them a lot. You need to be able to see a pattern of what notes are on what string very easily. Because next video we will start looking at combining strings, and then after that we'll add things like sharps and flats and other changes to it, but the basic pattern will at least be there. So if we can at least get it so we can see notes that say, oh, that's on the A string, or what have you, it makes it a lot easier. It'll help you learn your letter names, so you can pick out an individual note, but also you'll know where to play it. That's what's going to make it useful for you. All right, thank you.